Restricted space stropping. There are occasions where making space is not a viable option, so an understanding of how to apply strops where access to the spine side is compromised can be beneficial. For the purposes of this film, the technique is demonstrated in a trailer, but the principles apply to a variety of situations where front and rear access is possible. Considerations for any rescue must include whether it is safe to gain head control and utilise equipment to prevent further injury or distress to the casualty animal. In this instance, placing the padded head protection will protect the face and eye. Chemical control should reduce the chance of uncontrolled movement, but in the early stages think whether further soft or hard protection is required. Once the scene and the animal are sufficiently controlled, open the trailer to provide as much space as possible. Monitor responsiveness throughout and respond to veterinary requests to top up chemical control or attend to the casualty. This simulation demonstrates a system of work suitable for a heavily sedated horse. Operators must observe safe working areas at all times. Remaining out of the kicking zone, insert the standard strop guide through the natural hollow of the lower hind leg, just above the hock. Extend to a position where the 9-metre strop can be passed onto the strop guide using an appropriate long reach tool inserted from the front axis, in this case via the jockey door. Withdraw the strop through the natural hollow until the midline marker is observed. The end of the strop is then retrieved along the back of the spine using the long reach tool. Try to manage the strop in order that it lies in the correct position to avoid twists and obstructions. From the front, ease the strop under the rump of the animal by pulling alternatively on the strop ends until it is free of the legs and becomes loose. Next, position the strop guide or other appropriate tool through between the legs in order to retrieve the end of the strop which was positioned on the leg side of the animal. From the front, use the long reach tool again to feed the strop into position. The lower strop will now extend to the rear, resting on the inside of the lower leg and avoiding the genitalia. Retrieve the upper end of the strop in the same manner. The strop will now be configured into the backward skid formation and, if the rope is required, it can be applied. Use of auxiliary glide sheets will protect the casualty as it is withdrawn from the restricted space. In this demonstration, we prevent sheets from sliding down the ramp using ropes secured to the vehicle structure. The casualty glide sheet is pre-rigged with a towing facility and placed at the bottom of the slope to receive the casualty. A lunge line is attached to the head and fed to the outside through the rear of the trailer to provide additional control options if the animal attempts to rise due to any unforeseen stimulation. Two casualty handlers prepare the carry sheet for managing the head as the casualty is extracted, and the one on the leg side of the casualty retains control of the lead rope. As the casualty is extracted using a backward skid, consider management of the limbs, which could be with hobbles or limb crooks. Once the head is clear, to avoid walking on the slippery glide sheets, those handling the head can exit the restricted space through the jockey door and retain control of the head from the outside. If appropriate and with sufficient padding, the head may not require lifting once on the glide sheets. Remember, these are all principles, and in any given situation the tactical plan may require adjustments or adaptations within a safe system of work.